Hello. If you look around this site at the various projects, you'll see that very rarely do I colour or stain anything. And the truth is, I don't. In my normal carving, staining is not something I do, but I do get asked about it a lot. So what I want to do here is just give you a few ideas, a few thoughts about staining and how it works. If you just think about a piece of wood like this, it's made up of wood fibres, something like this, and they're travelling along the wood. So we have the ends of the fibres at the cut ends of the wood, and we have the side of the fibres here. Now these fibres at the end are rather like straws, and they will suck in stain much more along the end than the side. And you can demonstrate that by getting yourself a little piece of wood like this that has end grain here around to the side grain, and see what happens if you apply a stain. This is a very loose watery stain, and when I put it on, what will happen is that the end here will soak up the stain much more quickly and more of it than this side here. So what you get, and I'll put a bit on the side here, and what you'll get is a gradation of colour from very light or much lighter here to much darker around this end here. Now that can be all right when the whole piece is stained. For example, here's one I've done a bit earlier, and the gradation is quite smooth. But there is a problem when you're actually carving. So here I am carving a surface in a piece of wood, or perhaps I'm using a flat gouge and just skimming off the surface. As we have in other places on this website, it's a finish that I often use, just finishing from the chisel. Now if I was to take that, which looks actually fine, looks good to me, will wax well, but put some stain on it, like this, you can see how part of the facet has dark wood because it's end grain, and the centre bit here doesn't because it's got side grain. So there's this immediate change and a difference in the appearance. And anything that's at all torn, for example here there's a little bit of tear in the wood, all these tears that show end grain will show up. So your carving can completely change from being a lovely piece to suddenly having all these sort of little tears and so on showing up. So it's very difficult to stain wood like this and have it looking good, I think. So I hope that gives you some understanding of how stains actually work with the wood. The most important thing though, when you're thinking about staining your piece, is to do a test. It's very difficult to undo staining once you've stained the wood. You have to recarve it or resand it. Quite a time-consuming process. So do experiment first before you apply stains to your carving.